In the beginning, when the world was young and wild, the first humans stood small against an endless horizon. The African savanna stretched wide, filled with danger and mystery. They had no weapons of steel, no villages, no walls, only their bodies, their wits, and each other. Fear was their constant shadow, yet within their eyes burned the first sparks of courage. Here, survival was not given. It had to be fought for, moment by moment. The sun scorched the land, drying rivers into cracked scars across the earth. The first humans felt thirst claw at their throats. Children cried weakly, their lips parched. Mothers searched with trembling hands for even a drop of moisture in the soil, while men dug with sharpened stones. Every breath was heavy, every step more fragile than the last. In the silence of the heat, hope seemed as distant as the clouds. Then came a miracle, not from the elders but from a child. Among the first humans, small hands dug into the earth at the base of a dying tree. Mud appeared, then a shimmer of liquid. Water. Sweet, precious water. The tribe's eyes widened, hearts lifted. They drank as if life itself had returned to their veins. From that moment, the first humans knew survival demanded more than strength. It demanded observation, patience, and the courage to try. As night swallowed the savanna, terror returned. Without fire, the first humans were prey to the hunters of the dark. Lions' roars shook their bones, and the gleam of eyes in the grass reminded them of their fragility. They clung to one another, trembling beneath the vast sky. In those long nights, they prayed, not with words, but with silent hearts, that morning would come quickly. Necessity birthed invention. From stone to stone, a hand struck, again and again. Sparks danced, weak and fleeting, but the first humans gasped as if they had witnessed the touch of the divine. With dried grass and breath, smoke curled, and then, flame. Fire was born. Its light pushed back the shadows, its heat gave strength, and its crackle sang of survival. For the first time, they no longer feared the night. Around the fire, the first humans became more than prey, they became a people. Flames licked the sky, and with it came stories, gestures, and the first language of survival. Beyond the firelight, eyes still watched. Hyenas circled, waiting. But the tribe sat strong, protected by their discovery. Fire had given them more than safety, it had given them unity. Hunger drove them onward. With fire came courage, and with courage came weapons. The first humans sharpened sticks with stone, turning branches into spears. Together they entered the tall grass, hearts racing. For the first time, they were not simply scavengers. They would hunt. The air was heavy with fear, but also with purpose, the beginning of human destiny. The beast appeared, huge, furious, its tusks gleaming like curved knives. The first humans trembled, yet they did not flee. They raised their spears, shouted, and advanced as one. The clash was violent, echoing across the plain. Dust rose, cries rang, blood spilled. In that battle, they discovered something greater than fear, the power of unity. At last, the scent of roasted flesh filled the air. The first humans feasted, laughing, their bodies no longer weak. Children's eyes brightened, and strength surged in the weary. For the first time, they tasted triumph, a victory that belonged to them, not as animals, but as humans. That night, their laughter joined the fire, and the savanna echoed with a new sound, the song of survival. Survival demanded more than strength of body, it required the passing of knowledge. The first humans taught children to carve stone, to track footprints, to read the wind. Each lesson was a seed planted in the soil of time, destined to grow into the vast tree of humanity's future. Nature remained their greatest enemy. Storms ripped across the plains, lightning split the heavens, and thunder shook the earth. The first humans huddled together beneath rocks, shivering in fear. To them, the storm was a living beast, angry, uncontrollable, divine. Yet, as rain poured, they drank from the sky and learned that even fury could bring life. Danger struck when least expected. From the branches of a tree, a leopard pounced, silent until the last heartbeat. Screams tore through the air, and spears rose in panic. The battle was swift, brutal, and bloody. Among the first humans, some fell, others stood firm. In victory and loss, they understood the truth of their world. Survival carried a price, and it was always paid in blood. That night, under the endless stars, the first humans buried one of their own. Stones covered his body, hands touched the earth in farewell. They had no words for death, yet tears carved rivers on their faces. In grief, they discovered something deeper, the bond of love, the pain of loss, and the first whispers of memory. Humanity was not only born in fire, but also in mourning. At dawn, water flowed again, clear, alive, abundant. Fish darted beneath the surface, silver as the moon. The first humans watched in wonder, then leapt in with shouts of joy. With stones in hands, they caught their first fish. Here was food without tusks or claws, a gift from the river itself. They learned to look to nature not only with fear, but also with gratitude. In the shelter of stone, the first humans painted. With ash, clay, and blood, they drew animals, hunts, and fire. These were not mere scratches, they were memory made visible, the first language carved in stone. The cave became more than shelter, it was a sanctuary of spirit, where they told the story of themselves to time itself. They learned that nothing was impossible when done together. The first humans pushed as one, moving what no single hand could lift. Through struggle, they discovered the power of unity, the strength of community. They were no longer just survivors, they were becoming a people. But nature reminded them again of its power. Fire, once their ally, became a monster. A wildfire swept across the plains, devouring everything in its path. The first humans fled with cries of terror, clutching children to their chests. Behind them, the earth burned red, and the sky turned black. They learned that every gift carried danger, every light a shadow. Amidst fear, life continued. A child was born, tiny yet powerful, a promise of tomorrow. The first humans gathered, faces lit with hope. For every life lost, another began. In that fragile heartbeat, they saw the future, the reason to endure, the strength to survive. Humanity was carried not only in flesh, but in the spirit of generations. Step by step, the first humans mastered creation. With vines, they wove ropes. With ropes, they built tools. With tools, they shaped their world. Each invention was a victory, a piece of survival carved into time. They were no longer at the mercy of the land, they were shaping it. One evening, giants passed across the horizon. Elephants, mighty, ancient, beautiful. The first humans stood silent, awed by their size and grace. They did not hunt, they did not flee, they simply watched. In that moment, they learned respect for the other creatures of the earth, for survival was not conquest alone, but balance. Cliffs rose before them, sharp and unforgiving. Yet the first humans climbed. Hands reached for hands, pulling one another upward. At the summit, they stood against the wind, gazing across endless land. It was not victory over the cliff that mattered, but the lesson it gave, that no struggle was too great if endured together. Cliffs rose before them, sharp and unforgiving. Yet the first humans climbed. Hands reached for hands, pulling one another upward. At the summit, they stood against the wind, gazing across endless land. It was not victory over the cliff that mattered, but the lesson it gave, that no struggle was too great if endured together. The earth never ceased testing them. Wolves came, dozens of eyes glowing in the night. The first humans stood firm, fire in one hand, spears in the other. Flames roared, voices shouted, and the predators retreated into the dark. That night, they did not merely survive, they claimed dominion over fear itself. Dawn broke, and the first humans stood together on the high ground. The sun rose golden, casting its light across their weary faces. They had endured thirst, hunger, predators, storms, and fire. They had buried their dead, raised their young, discovered tools, and kindled flame. They were no longer simply part of the wild, they were its masters, its children, its future. And so the first humans walked, step by step, into the horizon. Fire in their hands, hope in their hearts, unity in their stride. They were the fragile, the fearless, the dreamers of survival. From their struggle was born the story of us all. For every step they took became the path of humanity, carved forever into the earth.